This is Essie Featured. This is the power of sports.
It's the present, but every morning he looks down at the past and the loss and the absence. How does he face it, and how does he fill it?
For me, my sense of normalcy is being at the racetrack. Racing cars gives me that adrenaline release that I need, that I crave, that I got when I was in country, either in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Growing up, Liam Dwyer was drawn to two roles in life: driver and soldier. He enlisted in the Marine Corps in 2001, was wounded by shrapnel in combat in Iraq in 2007, and then, by his choice, was redeployed to Afghanistan in 2010.
You get into it, and you get into this fight, and it gives you this unbelievable high that you've never experienced before. It's such an emotional and physical high that you're on that can never be explained in words.
5 months into his deployment, May 22, 2011, Dwyer was part of a group in southern Afghanistan searching a village house for homemade explosives when he stepped on an IED.
When I saw my body, I knew I was the one that triggered it. Couldn't move my left arm. I could move it over, but I couldn't bend at the elbow, and that's because the IED it ripped out the pocket of my elbow.
I've never seen a person folded up on themselves like that. His foot was up by his shoulder, and I thought he was dead, to be honest. When we know that one of our brothers is in trouble, we're gonna do whatever we can to help him out.
What really bothered me was the fact that I had hurt other Marines, and knowing that I had done something that had hurt them and possibly cost them their lives, I really found it very hard to live with myself at that point.
Dwyer would be taken to Walter Reed Medical Center in Maryland. The explosion sent penetrating wounds to nearly every part of his body. His left leg was amputated above the knee.
He had so much equipment in that room, you could barely reach over to touch him.
I felt like I was being restrained because of all the injuries that I had. With all the tubes that were hooked up into me in the IVs, I really couldn't move at all.
What quality of life is he now going to have? Is he going to be able to do the things that he used to do that he loves so much?
At Walter Reed, Dwyer received his second Purple Heart. He underwent more than 50 surgeries. Less than 4 months after the explosion, he stood for the first time. Less than a month after that, he took his first steps in parallel bars.
I was like, okay, if I could walk, I could probably be able to drive cars and maybe race cars. There was a therapist at the hospital that told me that I would never be able to drive stick again, let alone race. And that was a big FU to me. And I did not appreciate that at all. So I went out that weekend and drove my mom's car for the first time. If you take away driving from me, you take away some freedoms, but you also take away my true love of racing cars.
13 months after the explosion, he took his old car, a Nissan 350Z, to the racetrack, using a Velcro strap to hold his prosthetic leg to the clutch. 1 month later, he was racing in a vintage car circuit. By the spring 2014, Dwyer was driving in a professional sports car circuit.
How you doing, everyone? I'm Staff Sergeant Liam Dwyer.
To compete, he uses as much ingenuity as he does initiative.
I pop this leg off. This pops right into my leg, as you see. And now the leg is firmly attached. Now I'm able to operate the clutch.
Using this system, Dwyer entered the 2014 Northeast Grand Prix Memorial Day weekend, an endurance race featuring two-man driving teams. The driver switch is an arresting sight.
jump off the wall with the rest of the pit crew. I go over to the car, open the door, pull the nets, and then I just reach in there and give them, basically bear hug them and just pull them out of the car.
"3 years and 2 days after losing his left leg, Dwyer's team won at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut.
I'm sitting there looking at this saying, I really can't believe this is happening right now. It's just absolutely surreal.
To do it on his alive day, almost 3 years to the day he was injured, on a pro team and win, you couldn't write something like that.
When people say you can't do something or not able to do something, I don't like being told that. I want people to see me as the race car driver, Liam Dwyer, where people see my name and say, you gotta watch that guy, he's fast.
There is no wound. There's only the loss and the past and the absence. But he filled it with a future and a direction and a passion.
Tom Rinaldi reporting. Earlier this month, on May 2nd, Liam recorded his second racing victory. This time, Sergeant Aaron Denning, the soldier who helped save his life, was there to see it. Liam Dwyer is set to retire from the Marines on Friday.
Hi, I'm Pet Officer Ryan Smith from Suriname, South America, and we're here to help thank the 1.3 million service members who have given their lives for the country. Coming up on the show, former coach John Tortorella gets us set for Rangers Lightning Game 5.
You're watching Sports Center, presented by P3 from Oscar Mayer. It's 13 grams of protein from the original source.